Hello, everybody. The name of the show is Appeal to Reason. Let's get right into today's story. So, in one of the greatest examples of a lack of self awareness in recent history is Jake Tapper from CNN. He has decided to co write a book that outlines the mental decline and cover up of Joe Biden that was perpetuated by the media, which is real rich considering one of the worst perpetrators of this cover up was CNN. And on multiple occasions, Jake Tapper himself was complicit in this cover up. And him writing a book about this is basically equivalent to OJ Simpson if he had written a book about how to be a loving and caring spouse, is basically what this amounts to. This was obvious way back in 2020. I knew Democrats that would talk about Joe Biden's mental decline. Personally, they would see this and they talked about it. They still went on to vote for him, people that I knew, because Orange Man bad, I guess, essentially. But it's amazing to see this. Let's go ahead and look at the description of his book, and we'll see if you find it as amusing as I did. So, in the book's description, from two of America's most respected journalists, an unflinching, explosive reckoning with one of the most fateful decisions of American political history, Joe Biden's run for re-election despite the evidence of his serious mental decline amid desperate efforts to hide the extent of that deterioration. It goes on to say, Joe Biden launched his successful 2020 campaign bid for the White House and stated goal of saving the nation from a second Trump presidential term. He, his family, and his senior aides were all convinced that only he could beat Trump again. They lied to themselves, allies, and the public about his condition and limitations. At the debate with Trump in June of 27th of 2024, the consequences of that decision were exposed for the world to see, and it was shocking and upsetting. This is really rich to me because you know who else lied about Joe Biden's mental decline and tried to cover it up? It wasn't just Joe Biden, his family, and the people within the administration. It was virtually the entire legacy media, and especially Jake Tapper and CNN. If you remember, the debate between Trump and Biden was held unusually early, which many are speculating was held unusually early so that they would have time to swap out Biden if he inevitably did show his senility on stage that day. And this has been obvious, like I said before, since 2020. But if you look at this video, this is a golden example of Jake Tapper covering for Joe Biden's mental decline. Let's have a look here.
Little kids with stutters feel when they see you make a comment like that?
First and foremost, I had no idea that Joe Biden ever suffered from a stutter. I think what we see on stage with Joe Biden, Jake, is very clearly a cognitive decline.
Okay.
That's what I'm referring to. It makes me uncomfortable.
You have
to
no
watch somebody on stage search for
It's so amazing.
questions
It's so amazing to me
and try and figure out an answer.
A cognitive decline.
Well, when you're trying to tell me that what I was suggesting was
I think that you were
stuttering,
mocking his stutter. Yeah, I think you were mocking his stutter, and I think you have absolutely no standing to diagnose somebody's cognitive decline. I would think that somebody in the Trump family would be more sensitive to people who do not have medical licenses, diagnosing politicians from afar.
This video has not aged well at all for Jake Tapper. Talk about the gaslighting. They were mentioning gaslighting in the description of the book. Look at this, where he's trying to paint the picture that Laura Trump is somehow mocking kids with stutters. Like, who actually believes that? Not even a CNN viewer is going to believe that. And it's mind-blowing to me that this guy was allowed to moderate a debate on CNN between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. He should never be allowed to moderate another presidential debate for sure. And if you remember, the media continued to cover up for Biden even after the debate. It was days later that they were still saying, oh, everyone has a bad debate. And, oh, Joe Biden had COVID, so he was sick. And that's why he had a poor debate performance. And as the legacy media fades away and as independent media becomes more prominent, more popular, it just gives me a whole lot more hope for the future of humanity, basically. I'm way more optimistic now more than ever as we see, the things that Trump administration is doing, and then we see the rise of independent, honest media. But that's all I've got for now. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a like and subscribe and share the video with your friends. Thanks for your time and attention today.